Alright, hello guys, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to another budgeting video. Today's video is going to be all about weekly checking in for the first 2 weeks of September. I know that at the time that I post this video is going to be way past this time, but I wanted to save the last 2 weeks of September for my last budgeting video of the month, which is me closing out my whole September budget. If I were to weekly check in for every single week of this month, this video would be super long, and I thought it would just be better to split it into 2 videos just because I don't know how interested you guys are in these videos. Again, I used to film these a lot back in the day, but nowadays people are into different things, so I wanted to test this out and see how it goes. In the future, I might even end up filming this on a weekly basis. I have here my September budget spread, and I have now taken you guys along with closing out a budget. So for August, I had a video up, then I had a September monthly budget reset where I set this budget spread up, and now I'm doing the weekly check-in, and then I'll close out this. So I'm showing you exactly how it is that I go about budgeting, my budgeting system, and I hope you guys have been enjoying these videos. We're definitely, like I mentioned, are 100% back to budgeting, which is really exciting because we have a lot of different financial goals and just goals in general for the end of this year and for 2026, which we're really excited about. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I already do have my budget expense stickers all ready to go. For the most part, I think I might have had expenses for every single category in my key here. I just end up staying in the binder, but usually I do take out some pages. So just in case you guys wanted to take a look at my monthly budget spread, I did set this up earlier this month. We most likely won't be doing much in here, but what I will be grabbing will be this weekly check-in spread. I also have here my variable income page, which I don't think I set this up with you guys, but I have a few sources of income for this month. So we have YouTube, Amazon, and I did add Poshmark in here because I ended up making a sale this month. Then I also have my key here with the different budget expense sticker colors, my bill dues all laid down. I did make a short form video for this, and hopefully you guys can see this. So instead of me flipping back and forth, I am going to have my weekly check-in page here. I like to have a physical copy of my budget planner as well as have a digital copy. So I use the digital copy on my GoodNotes app in my iPad, and I typically weekly check in on my own. And then I also like to have a physical copy to not only film these videos, but it's really nice for me to be able to have something to look back to, like when creating my different budgets and categories and just looking at what I used to have back in the day for like sinking funds. I love to look back at all of my budget planners that I've had in the past, and I would just not be able to do that if I had them all digitally. So that's the main reason why I still have a physical copy. I'm just writing out my categories here. So I weekly check in for groceries, eating out, household, gas, babies, and beauty. And then for week 1, that is going to be from August 29th until September 4th. Week 2 will be from the 5th until the 11th. Week 3 will be from the 12th until the 18th. And week 4 will be from the 19th until the 25th. So those will be the weeks for this month. Let's take a look at August here. Okay, something tells me I might have to move my binder out of the way just because it is pretty big. But I'm going to start. For August 29th, we had 2 expenses. They're both from the other category. So we have gift for, actually we have 3 of them. We have 2 gifts, one for $50 and one for $70. And then we have Victor's haircut, which was $45. Then on the 30th, we have 3 expenses again. One of $49.42 for gas, And then we have 2 eating out expenses. So we went to Golden Road, to a brewery, to celebrate Victor's youngest brother and his now fiance. They had just came back from a Europe trip and they got engaged over there. So we went to go celebrate at Golden Road. We don't usually go out to breweries much. Like, we hardly ever go out, but we decided to go out that night. So Golden Road, we pumped gas. I think we might have had the In-N-Out before we went to Golden Road. So those are the expenses for August. I am going to keep this sheet with me just so that I don't have to flip back and forth. All right, then moving back to September. Also, if you guys hear a little baby in the background, that is Richie. We had an eating out expense of $33.56 on Monday. Then on Tuesday, I had another eating out expense. This actually was not for us, but I ended up getting Panda Express for my grandpa. He absolutely loves Panda Express. And I don't know if you guys know this, but usually when the Dodgers win a home game, the day after, you get a discounted plate of food. So he knows about that. He loves the Dodgers and he loves Panda. So I wasn't able to go and deliver it to him. My sister actually took it to him. But of course I said yes because I love to see my grandpa happy. Plate ended up being $8.31, and that was all on Tuesday. Then for Wednesday, we had a Target expense as well as groceries. So let's start with groceries at Aldi. That was $72.24. We have an eating out expense for donuts. Grocery expense of $41.48. Then McDonald's for $9.43. I think this might have been Victor. I'm actually going to take out this data as well. So I believe Victor got McDonald's. And then we have 2 more Target expenses. One for diapers and one for household. So I'm either going to try to squeeze all of these in here or just add the other one. Actually, I think I can squeeze it right there. Okay, so as you guys can see, there were quite a few expenses this day. We usually don't have that many in one day, but that was everything for Wednesday. Then for Thursday, we have another baby expense for Target, but these were closed for the babies. I believe I got 2 pairs of jammies for Vito and one onesie for Richie, as well as I got Vito this Cars backpack that he could take to Disneyland. So that was $48.05. Then on the 6th, we have another groceries expense for sodas. I ended up buying sodas for my little brother's party, and then his gift was $56.29. So both of those were on Saturday the 6th. And then we have an unbudgeted expense of $80 for some Adventure City tickets. We ended up having to pay for that because we had a birthday party at Adventure City, which I had never heard of Adventure City before, but it's basically like a toddler little kid theme park in Anaheim. And it's crazy because I used to live in Anaheim a few years back and I had never heard of it. So that was our unbudgeted expense because obviously it doesn't belong in any one of our categories here. So that gets a red sticker. And I think I'm just going to go through all the expenses for the first 2 weeks, so until the 11th. Then the next few expenses we have here are on the 9th. I have 2 unbudgeted expenses. One was for parking for Disney, which was $26.25, which seems like so much money for parking, but do not fret because I have thought of different ways that I can get cheaper parking at Disneyland. I've seen a lot of videos on TikTok too, so I'll definitely be coming back to let you guys know what it is that I do. I also had to buy formula, which was $20.89. Another unbudgeted expense, I ended up buying some accessories for $17.24 for a bridal shower that I was going to, and we don't have a category for clothes, so that is an unbudgeted expense. I also have a baby's expense for some fall clothing. I actually ended up getting 2 cute little fall outfits for when we go to the pumpkin patch. We usually like to take pictures at the pumpkin patch, and the fall outfits for the kids were $26.60, which I'm taking out of my baby's category. So I can already see that the baby's category is going to be a little bit high. You know, it happens. And last for this day, I bought a face primer, which I was mentioning in my other vlog video that I was running out of. So this is the day that I purchased a new one. That was $10.91. That is it for the 9th. Then for the 10th, I had another unbudgeted expense. We are racking up the unbudgeted expenses this month, but it was for my Quip subscription. I feel like I always forget about this when it comes to the point, just because I get this billed every 3 months. So I definitely think I'm going to start a sinking fund for this, so then that way that is no longer an unbudgeted expense. I mean, it has gone up the past few quarters. I believe I used to pay like $5 or $7, and now it's gone up to $9.74. On the 11th, we have 2 last expenses, which are groceries and gas. So gas was $34.76, and groceries at Aldi were $84.87. We've actually been doing really good with groceries. One of the amounts was $72.24 and then $84.87. The main reason I would say is because we typically buy all of our meats in bulk from Sam's, which we did end up going to Sam's on the 12th, so that kind of evens out our $125 budget a week. I just wanted to mention that just in case you guys are probably like, oh, you're going to be really under for groceries this month. Okay, so now I have all of my budget expense stickers. I never know if to zoom in or zoom out, so definitely let me know. I have my weekly check-in page right here as well. And let me get my calculator. Let's go first through groceries. I have 41, 48, 72, 24. That is 113.72. 72. And then I want to mark how much we added in these categories for this first paycheck, which is usually half of our monthly budgeted amount. At $250 for groceries, $87.50 eating out, 50, 80, 75, and 40. Then we have remaining $136.28. I think I'm just going to finish up with each category, so then that way this video is not super long. Let's check these off. And then for the second week, from the 5th until the 11th, we have the sodas for $27.93. And Aldi for $84.87. That is $112.80. And then we don't add anything to the categories this week. So minus $136.28. That means that remaining we have $23.48. So we are under that amount. Next, for eating out, we have Golden Road, which was $49.04. In-N-Out for $28.45. I'm looking at August right now. Mariscos we had this day, $33.56. $8.31 for Panda. So in total, we spent $134.76 for eating out, which seems like our whole budget for the month. But that's what we spent the first week, which is crazy. So $134.76 minus $87.50 means that we were over budget by $47.26 already in the first week. And then did we have any other eating out after this? We did not. We definitely learned our lessons. So $0 spent in the second week, but we were still over, of course, by $47.26 here. So as usually can happen a lot when you're tracking your expenses is one week you're overspending on a category, then the second week you're not spending any money at all. That's a true representation of us with a budget. Household. For household, I only see one of these blue stickers, which was $36.58. So $36.58 are 50. Means that we're in pretty good shape. So $13.42 left, and then nothing spent for the second week for household. So pretty good there. For gas, we have one expense August 30th, which was $49.42 plus $34.76 right here. Actually, this was the second week. First week was $49.42. Right here, $49.42, which I should probably... I already did the eating out and I'm checking off gas. Okay, there we go. So that minus 80. So that means that we were under by $30.58, but we did spend $34.76 the second week here. Over by $4.18. Then for baby, this is where things get funny. You know, this is how I cope with my decisions and with baby spending, by laughing. We have $69.22 for diapers, $45.08 for Target, $26.60 for fall clothing, and $20.89 for formula. Okay, definitely a lot more than I thought we were going to spend. But this is good because now I know that for next year, I should definitely have either a fall category, definitely one for fall pictures because, or like Christmas pictures, because that's something that we're thinking about doing this month now. And just thinking about the fact that we don't have money set aside from that means that it's going to be a big hit into our monthly budget. So it's definitely nice to keep note of any unbudgeted expenses that you have in a particular season, so then that way for next year you're better prepared, which we definitely will be next year. Okay, I totally messed up because I added all the numbers together. So the first week it was $114.30, so we were over by $39.30 the first week, and then the second week we spent $47.49, and that means that we were over by $86.79. There you go. That looks better. Okay. And then for beauty, I didn't have any expenses the first week, just the second. And that was, so 40 minus the 1091 means that I still have $29.09 remaining. Yes, I'm just making sure that I've checked off everything. I should probably check off my bills as well, like internet, insurance, and car payment. I don't usually deal with the red or the other stickers when I'm weekly checking in. That's mainly for when I close out my budget, but those are still very much there and they will be counted when I do my September budget results. Okay guys, so this pretty much concludes my week 1 and 2 weekly check-ins. This is how it ended here, which as you guys can see, already over in 3 categories: eating out, gas, and babies. I think we should be good with gas once we get the other half of these amounts, as well as for groceries we're good. I think we'll be good for eating out as well too, but we will just have to go ahead and see that once I film my September budget results video, which hopefully will be the video after my October monthly reset. So definitely stay tuned for both of those videos coming up. definitely don't have anything else to say. I pretty much explained myself and all of my purchases thus far. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. As always, please do not forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel for more budgeting videos, as well as let me know how it is that you've been doing for September. I feel like with the fall holiday season approaching, there's definitely a lot more money that we spend than usual. So that is something to make note of, I think, for October, November, and December's budget. But yeah, okay, that's all that I have. Thanks for watching again, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys.